Let us begin with I'm a lovely 5D mystic. Because of integration of the brain, 5D is oneness consciousness, so you can use your left, the chit-chatter, the right. There's no window of tolerance for the emotions that come up. There's a window of welcome, and so you're not distorting anything because you don't have self-awareness, self-reflection, and the capacity, therefore, to say, oh, I have emotions going on right now. And that can happen at any time of your life when you're a securely attached person. So that's where I'm at. Thanks, Mom. So my 0-1-year-old, my 3 to 7, those are charged states. I learned all about them in my trauma courses. This one is particularly from my course with Somatopia. So 0-1-year-old attached panicky, 3 to 7 shame submissive, freeze of all ages, flight 11, 12, and fight 14, 15, 16. And I learned them from my teacher, who's also a therapist, Sue Martin. Don't know all of the list of her credentials, but I could find them. Long story short, though, she talks about the child parts as charged parts, which I completely, as a mystic, and therefore with the relationship with Akash, this infinite space, and also an Akashic record reader, it's totally cool. By the way, 5D mystics, come on over here, because the 4D are completely lost in the stories of our ancient times, which were when we only had spirituality, and now instead we have sciences that explains the embodied brain. So empowerment, and an empowered woman is a person who is, well, I'm going to speak as a woman, a nurturer. And you only protect in the sense of becoming a person who converses with others, because we don't live the adventure movie. That's not what it is to be in your restorative embodiment. So when you don't lose your actual embodiment, self-awareness, it's because you have a good relationship. Thanks, Mom. I was not frightened when all of my basic emotions, the human ones, came up. I was not made to work for love, and I did not get told that I wouldn't be accepted. Actually, because my mother's from Naples, Italy, there's this saying that I remember hearing, even a cockroach is beautiful to their mother. So I knew that even if I was the ugliest thing alive, and that matters because we're all insecure, and as a woman we can all talk about that, right? But I'm sure men, every one of us has the aspects of, oh, do I look pretty, do I not? I know that I'm average, and I got to make peace with it. In fact, as a teenager I did, and it was because of this let's talk about avoidant men, shall we? And we'll just talk about those who have poor embodiment, self-awareness. Also, they disregard caring about another human being's emotions, and teenagers, all of them did, because they're low self-esteem like I was, and I chose not to be low self-esteem because I said, you know what? Jesus does a pretty good thing at talking to me about forgiving, for they do not know, turning the other cheek, and also blessed are those who believe without seeing. God tells me I'm made the way that I'm supposed to be made and not to desire to be made any other way. I've been gifted this thing called life, and I am appreciative always here because I have loved ones. I have a herd that I love. So when you have a herd that you love, it's because you have a family that keeps you safe. My mother taught me to be loving, accepting, and respectful of me with my flaws and imperfections, and my twin. So I had this luck. I got to be a person who already was sharing always my space, which is why my 3-year-old, which is reactive, will come up with them, my mother and my twin. They will get the what I call my Kali mode with no Shiva. And Krishna Lila, I'm still working on it. So Krishna Lila is the ventral vagal nervous system, because when you get curious, open, accepting, and loving, you're using your prefrontal cortex. But to get online with that one requires your self-reflection and self-awareness, and then the capacity to say, you know what, I want to choose a different pattern of behavior. That's why behavior, not to be pathologized. The good therapists will learn how to tell you it's to be understood. So my 3-year-old is so instinctively reactive that I began working as a 16-year-old on it, my tone with my mother and my twin, and my mannerisms, and I'm still working on it. I can still get reactive, and it's snap and done, which is why when people don't understand attachment trauma information, they don't understand when a human being is in their biological rudeness. So if somebody's yelling in your face, and I have had that happen, and I was recalibrating as they were yelling, because I already know how to be my own safe haven, because thank you, mother, I have secure attachment. Okay, so when an empowered woman gets treated in any way, shape, or form, it does not matter. I also, though, have to say I was held with equanimity. So this is important. And I watched my mother hold others with equanimity, meaning continuing to respect, accept, and allow love for me to be seen as communication. So I got a very good example of what it is to be an empowered woman with men, women, anyone, theys, all, humanity. In fact, I was taught the 3-year-old, the world don't revolve around you. Okay, so these are very basic concepts that all of us talk about, but there's a difference when you have restorative embodiment, because you have a good relationship with everything that comes up and you don't project it, which is why you don't turn bitter and start doing misandry stuff, hatred of men, or talking about marriage or relationships as if there's never going to be somebody out there that knows how to love. Love bombing, FYI. The people that use these words, ghosting, love bombing, anyone that I've seen, they're not empowered. They're using words and they haven't even learned to pay attention. What are you doing in here? Because I have seen people who think that any type of consistent love, because I'm a consistent lover, conscious lover, and that's where my solo polyamory comes into the mix. I don't say I love you and then I lied. No, I know what I'm talking about because I have a restorative embodiment. So I'm not confused about my emotions. I'm not confused about my gut. I'm not confused about what I'm saying to you. I'm not unconsciously with my left mode chit-chatting away, making up assumptions about you. I'm actually present. That's where the curious, open, accepting, and loving comes in. So when I say I do, it's because I mean it. And when you begin to act in an avoidant manner because you have emotional immaturity, and that's the part of where anxious is ambivalent. Okay, so let's organize this stuff. One, any person who does not know their own emotional plane, it's because they choose not to be self-reflective or self-aware. And I don't want to do personal development for the basic. The ones who need it even more, well, they just use movies, evil, devil, any kind of excuse, quote unquote, to just continue, because this is where 2024, there's plenty of information. So on that note, what happens when an empowered woman, 5D mystic in this case, solo polyamory, it is important to note because I have compersion. This means I'm happy for my partners if they have somebody else that they love. So this is why it puts you in a different spot, because you're not love bombing. You're consciously, consistently loving a person with consistent contingent communication. That's why you're empowered, because you are a pacha handshake. So you don't say I love you and take it back. You're knowing what you're saying, and then you're okay. As I got older, you're not my property. I'm not your property. I want to have fun in life. You want to have fun in life. Cool. Let's talk. Direct communication. It's not scary for a secure attachment person. That's the only time you're empowered, is when you finally achieve this ability to be a securely attached human being who knows that your manners, you care. So motivation on this regulated nervous system, yes, it's if you want to be the grown-up version. What we see out there of women that think they're empowered are a lot of teenagers. Because the minute a man turns around and does, whether it's love bombing or lying, you have attachment trauma information that's explaining to you they don't have a grown-up relationship with their emotions yet. Any person who does not have secure attachment and lacks self-reflection and self-awareness will have still their 0-1-year-old freaking out inside. Mine isn't. I'm securely attached. I have a good relationship here. But there's then those first 3 years of your life, which are implicit memory. So if you got a defectiveness shame button going on, you're going to feel defective. And that's where we have the codependent type people. So I'm going to put that to the side so I can finish the actual topic and share. Yes, so when we get love bombed, we enjoy it. When we start seeing their changes and we get friend zoned, it's okay, because we're not lovers who are actually trying to attach to anyone. My love for you is unconditional. You're beautiful just the way you are. So there's no liar pants on fire, because I'm imperfect and flawed just as much as you. So I'm not going to give up, quote unquote, on a relationship. I'm also not trying to hold you by a cord. So it's going to be very interesting always when a woman who's empowered gets love bombed and then friend zoned, because really it doesn't matter to us, because we share love without any strings attached. It's I said what I said because I feel it in here. I'm a restorative embodiment of myself. I know what my left and right do. I know what I always am, and you use your name. The 5D mystic doesn't change that. In fact, that's why with our twin flame and flames and soulmates, we don't have sagas. There ain't no drama. The only people of drama are the teenagers who can make use of people like Patrick Deahan, who shares how all of that which is in the mystic plane doesn't help you to stop dating beneath yourself. You want to learn how to be your parent, then the adult version, and that's where the 5D relationships come in. We get to be functional adults together and have a beautiful love language, pacha, handshakes. So bringing our inner child out to play. Tune in for more and have a great day.